Hi guys, I am finally going to do the weight loss surgery tag, and I might need to apologize in advance. I think my dog is in a barky mood again, and so she might be barking in the background. I did not want to do this tag, only because I have such a long drawn out weight loss journey history that I didn't want to try to figure out how to make this all concise, but also make it make sense and not be 2 hours long. I don't know how well I'm going to do. I haven't even read through all the questions. I've just watched all of the tag videos. So I was tagged by Mini Me in Tennessee. I was tagged by Ginny from Join Ginny on her weight loss surgery journey. And I was tagged by Angie from Ange's R&Y. And I think that's it. Sorry if I missed you. I am going to tag a few people that I haven't seen any videos from them in a while. So I am tagging Rosaura on the bench. I am tagging Gina B. I am tagging Amy Eats Plants. I am tagging Diamond886. I am tagging Cindy VSG. I am tagging Losing It For Me 42. And I'm tagging Jen from Here's 2 Second Chances. Oh shoot, I just remembered someone else that I want to tag too. Oh, I can't remember the name of her channel. I'm tagging you too though. You just did a video where you made your goal weight. I can't remember, but I'm gonna tag you too. So you watch all my videos, so you'll see this. Okay, so let me get started. I don't have my glasses on, so let's see. I have the questions pulled up on the computer. First question, when did you start gaining weight? You know, that's kind of a funny question because don't we all start gaining weight from the moment that we're born? I was born premature. As a matter of fact, I don't remember exactly how many weeks premature, but at least 5 weeks premature. I was only 1 pound and I don't know how many ounces, but very much on the low side of ounces. This was in 1971, so, medical treatments and things are not as advanced. We're not as advanced then as they are now. They actually told my mother that I wasn't going to make it, that I was too small and that there was no way that I was going to make it. And then when they saw that I was still alive, then they told my mother that I was going to be mentally retarded and that there was no way that I was going to have normal brain development. And that did not happen either. So I was in the hospital for 4 to 5 weeks before I went home for the first time. And pretty much from the moment that I came home, my mother said that she started sneaking in a little bit of cereal. So even while she was giving me breast milk, she would put a little bit of cereal diluted on her finger and put it in my mouth. So from the second I was born, people were trying to fatten me up. And so yes, I was a chubby child. So I've always kind of been overweight. Now the thing is that if I look back on my pictures, I was chubby in elementary school, and then I slimmed down a little bit I probably slimmed down a little bit more by like 5th or 6th grade. However, I still was very overweight compared to the other people in my class. So let me explain that a little bit. In the early 70s, people were really small. And so even though I don't know how old I am, but I remember a diary entry where I was so upset that I weighed 130 pounds and I just wished that I could be a normal weight like everyone else because I was so fat. And it wasn't just my imagination that I was fat. I was considered fat. I was called fat. I was teased for being fat. In gym class, I remember being sent home with a note that I was fat. I was overweight. But see, back then, even being like 10 pounds overweight was overweight. And all the other girls wore like smalls and extra smalls, and I wore mediums. And so compared to them, I was big. I was overweight. And then later, as I got a little bit older, then I was in larges, while still the other girls were in, you know, extra smalls. I talk about this. I have a two sets of very long videos where I go into a long history near the beginning of my journey, if you want to go back and look at those. So I was always considered fat, although I really was not fat. Okay, number 2. Are you an emotional eater? Yes, very, very, very much so. I am an emotional eater. How long have you been dieting? Pretty much my entire life. Yeah, I mean, I know that my parents probably tried to cut down on my food in elementary school and middle school. I know as I got older, like when I was in high school, I was specifically trying to diet and cut down on things myself. I first joined a gym at the age of 13, and so I remember going to a gym, working out with a personal trainer. My mother would go to the gym. Well, my mother took me to the gym. She was trying to gain some muscle because my mother, for most of her life, was very, very skinny, tiny person. Like I remember she was a size 00. And that was back when sizes are much smaller than they are now. Actually, one of the reasons I was premature, and my brother was also premature, was that my mother just could not gain weight. And so she was unable to carry us to term. No matter what she ate, she wouldn't gain. But then when she had a hysterectomy at 30, then now she has gained weight. But at first, in her early years, she was always very tiny. So anyway, we joined the gym when I was 13, and I was there to lose weight, and she was there to try to gain some muscle. I forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, so how long have I been dieting? So I've been on some type of diet my entire life, probably at least since high school, and probably before that. Are you following any specific diet? I would just say I'm following a low-carb diet with intermittent fasting. Have you cut off any foods completely? Well, so far this is not so bad. Okay, yes and no. I mean, no. Okay, so no, I haven't cut anything out completely. But there are things that I really don't eat anymore, but I'm not saying that I'm not going to eat them. So I guess no. Because, for example, so I'm 18 months out. Pasta. I have had a bite or two of pasta a couple of times while I was in Vegas for a buffet. Other than that, I haven't had any pasta at all. And not even a low-carb whole wheat pasta, like none. I don't see myself having a pasta dish anytime soon. It's like I would rather just order something else. I just think that it would make me feel very, very full and very bloated. And that is the way that I've always felt about rice. I mean, I hadn't had rice at all until just a couple months ago. Maybe like 2 months ago was the first time that I'd had rice since surgery. And now I've had like a few bites of it a couple times. But really, I mean, I guess there's nothing that I've completely cut out. They're just things that I rarely have. I mean, my favorite dessert is cupcakes or donuts. And in 18 months, I live within a mile away from what I think is the best donuts I've ever had in my life. And so every time I'm in my car, this is the funny thing. They have two different stores. They're both 24 hours. In one direction about a mile, there's one. And then in another direction for about a mile, there is another one. So no matter where I'm going, I'm always about to pass by this donut place. And I love donuts. But I've only been there twice since I've had surgery. Although I admit I think about it every single time I drive by. I think about having a donut. And truthfully, the 2 times I went, they were absolutely delicious. It was just as delicious as I remembered, and it didn't make me sick, and I was perfectly fine. But I'm just trying to stay away from there as much as possible. But, you know, my plan is occasionally, maybe, I'm just trying to stay away as much as possible. Let me just say that. And then, for cupcakes, I love cupcakes, and so I did go to my favorite cupcake place once since surgery. That I didn't enjoy as much as I thought that I would, so I haven't been tempted to go back there yet. That's all I've had in real life. Now, once again, when I'm in Vegas, I have had some desserts and things from the buffets, and then occasionally I've ordered something from Starbucks while I was on vacation. So I seem to eat a few more things on vacation that I don't eat in what I call real life. Pizza, I've had that several times on vacation. I've only had that one time in real life. So I don't think I've cut out anything completely, but I have severely restricted a lot of different things. I'll just say that. Have you had success losing weight in the past? Yes, many times, but I always gain it back. So, but I've never lost this much weight. So the most weight I have ever lost was, I think, 80 pounds. And that was the last time I had lost weight, which was in 2013. I used the MetaFast diet to help me do that. So MetaFast is where you have 100 calorie meal packets. So you have one of those 5 times a day. And then for your 6th meal, you have your own lean and green. So it's so many ounces of lean protein plus 3 servings of vegetables. And so I really learned how to love vegetables doing that doing MetaFast, because I did that for over a year. And so having to come up with 3 servings of vegetables every single day made me get very creative. And actually, most of the foods that you see me cook now are all recipes and things that I made when I was on MetaFast. I tried to get very good with incorporating a lot of vegetables into my meals. And so it's funny because on the one hand, you're eating this processed food 5 times a day in these envelopes, but then at the same time, because of that lean and green, I really got good at cooking my meals and planning. That's when I first started meal prepping, when I did MetaFast. And just learning how to incorporate lots of vegetables in my diet. So that was the last time that I lost a significant amount of weight. But before that, several times before, pretty much every single time I did a low carb like diet, I would lose weight. So as long as I cut my carbs to at least 50, and then I always in the past worked out like crazy. I used to live in the gym. I've had numerous personal trainers. Yeah, I've done all of that, and it has always worked when I was very strict, because I do have the ability to be very strict. And so that's what would happen is I would be very strict. I would work out, 5 or 6 days a week. I would count my carbs. I would do everything I was supposed to. And then after about a year or so, something would happen, some stressful event would happen in my life, and I would stop doing it, and then I would regain all my weight. So that is what has consistently been happening over the past like 25 years, over and over and over again. Okay. Do you follow a workout plan? Not really, no. I've tried to get my steps in every day. And then in addition to that, I try to hop on my elliptical. I try to do some weight training, lifting weights for my arms. But I don't consider that a workout plan. So I'm more focused on just moving and working on, you know, my arms and things like that. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for workout plans. This is the longest in my life that I've ever not belonged to a gym. And I'm kind of enjoying it. You know, like I said, I've belonged to a gym off and on since I was 13. I really have. And when I say off and on, I'm not sure that ever more than maybe a year has ever passed when I was not a member of the gym and at least went some of the time. Like I'd go consistently for a year and then I would stop for like 3 or 4 months. And then I'd go consistently again and then I would stop for a few months. And I would, you know, so it's like back and forth. And right now, you know, I have an elliptical in my house and I have a treadmill and I have lots of weights and I have dumbbells. I'm just focusing on using that stuff right now. What are some of your favorite diets? Well, low carb is what always works for me. So let me just say that. How much weight do you want to lose? You know, I don't know. My surgeon's goal is 169 and I'm closing in on that. And then we will see. Like to me, my goal weight is the weight that I can easily maintain within reason without having to go do some crazy diet or without having to work out like 10 hours a day. To me, that is the goal weight. Now, I am doing intermittent fasting, which by some definitions people might call a little crazy, and I think just maybe a month ago I would have thought it was a crazy thing to do. And so my weight seems to be zooming downwards now since I've started this, so we will see. It's something that I do plan on continuing for the rest of my life because besides helping me maintain and lose my weight, there just seems to be so many health benefits to it. So I really want to make sure that I keep doing it. So to me, it's going to be the weight that I can achieve by doing intermittent fasting, keeping my carbs relatively low, but nothing crazy. I mean, this month I am trying 35 net carbs just to see how I feel, but I'm still thinking that I'm more of a 50 net carb person. And so, okay, so now I don't trust this camera because I was just listening back through my entire video, which I had finished, and I realized that my camera cut me off and stopped recording, and I didn't know that it had stopped recording. This is the same thing that it did during my 5-day fasting videos. So, I mean, the only good thing is that after listening to what I had already recorded, I realized that there was an important part of this whole thing that I forgot to talk about. When I was talking about when did you first start gaining weight, hello, I forgot to talk about the most important part of that. So my entire life I was always considered overweight, but I wasn't that overweight. I was just bigger than everyone else. I was actually the biggest person in my family too. That was the thing. I have a very large family, a huge family. My father has 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and my mother has 6 sisters, and then all of them have 2, 3, 4, or 5 children. So I guess what I mean, my extended family. So I have lots and lots of cousins and aunts and uncles. And except for one aunt, I was always the biggest one. Even when I was 130 pounds, I was the biggest person. So anyway, when I actually became morbidly obese was in college. So at approximately 20 years old, I started having really bad migraine headaches. I used to have a lot of headaches my entire life, actually. I had a lot of headaches, but they turned into migraine headaches when I was in college. And they tried all the different medications, nothing would help. Until, of course, they tried the one medication that has all these side effects. And the #1 side effect is major weight gain. So in the first month of me taking this medication, I gained 30 to 40 pounds. So of course, the doctors were horrified, and so they took me off of the medication, and we tried some other things like medications that were similar, because it's an antidepressant that's not used as an antidepressant anymore because it has too many side effects. but it's used for other things. It's used for its side effects now, but it's not used as an antidepressant. So he tried other antidepressants, other blood pressure medications. Like, we tried so many other things and nothing else worked like that medication did. So they put me back on the medication, and within 1 year of starting it, I gained 100 pounds. So it wasn't the freshman 15 or anything, because I wasn't even a freshman when I started taking this. But yeah, 100 pounds. And so I was horrified, but it was important for me to get through school. I had to finish my degree, and then I figured, then I have the whole rest of my life to get this weight off. And so I just didn't worry about it. You know, I tried to eat right some of the time. You know, some of the time I was eating like a bad college student. And then the other part of the time I was horrified and I was trying to diet and exercise. And I remember going to the health center and working out and trying to walk a lot around campus, like all of these different things, and my weight never bulged. Although I admit, the thing is that from the point that I gained that 100 pounds, my weight really didn't fluctuate all that much. And actually for most of my life, my weight has not fluctuated a lot. So pretty much in college, my weight got up to 270 pounds, and that's about where it stayed while I was in college. Now, most of my life, my weight has stayed around 270, 275 pounds. So occasionally I would diet and it would get down below that a little bit, and then I would regain, and occasionally it would jump up just a little bit, but then I would always end up mostly in the 270s. So for the past 26 years, I've pretty much been in the 270s. Now, I had a very stressful job at one point where my weight did get up to 320 pounds for a short period of time before I realized that my weight was so high, and then I immediately dieted, got it down, and then was able to keep it down from that ever since then. And then, yeah, then occasionally I'd jump up into the 280s, but then I'd get it back down. So except for, like I said, that one time, I wasn't one of those people who continuously gained weight. I gained a whole bunch of weight all at once, and pretty much my entire life I've stayed at that weight, except for my fluctuations back and forth and back and forth. Does that make sense? Okay, so the question I was answering, how much weight do you want to lose? I think that I finished answering that. It's whatever weight I can keep off within reason. So we'll see what that is. My surgeon's goal for me is 169. We'll see how I look and how I feel. I mean, you know, if the scale keeps going down with this intermittent fasting thing and I'm not like struggling too hard to make it go down, then I'll continue to let it go down. If I get to like 165 and then all of a sudden it's too hard for me to lose weight without doing something else, then, you know, maybe I'll stay at 165. Because the one thing that I've learned from all of my dieting and regaining my weight is that it doesn't matter what weight I can get to. It only matters what weight I can consistently stay at. And so I'm more concerned about staying at a certain weight than trying to get down to a certain weight. I'm only 5'3". Technically I should be in the 130s or something, but I'm not sure I believe that I can maintain that. Now, maybe with intermittent fasting, we'll see. I mean, I just want the weight that I can maintain, not a weight just to say that I'm a certain weight. Okay? Do you feel you are addicted to food? Okay, so the part that was cut off, I gave a long-winded answer to this. I probably don't need to. I feel like I'm an emotional eater. I sometimes make bad choices, but I don't believe that I am addicted to food. Just because based on what I have heard other people talk about and from what I've seen from other people, my behaviors around food do not seem to match the behaviors of people who really are addicted to food. I was able to get up to my high weight just by making bad choices. But I don't binge eat. I don't like, for example, I used to probably eat fast food too much, but I never ever supersized fast food. I never ate 2 dinners in a day. I never ate huge portions of food. I don't have a problem with keeping certain things around the house. I mean, I have some popcorn over there right now that I opened over a week ago, and I haven't eaten any more of it. But I am an emotional eater, so it's like, yes, I have candy in the cupboard that's been in there forever. I have nuts in there. I have peanut butter in there. I have popcorn everywhere. I have things in the freezer, you know, I mean, ice cream in the freezer, my problem is I might eat those things when I'm not hungry, but I still tend to eat a normal amount of it. So, or like I'll have 1 serving of nuts when I probably shouldn't be eating because I'm not hungry. But I don't have a whole container of nuts or like 5 servings of nuts. Like, I don't have a problem with stopping eating, and I don't have a problem with being around certain foods. I guess, I don't know. In my mind, I'm not addicted to food. I just do use food emotionally. So the thing is that the few times that I do say I overeat popcorn, that's only if I have a really horrible, stressful day at work. And so it's like, maybe on the worst day, then, okay, if that bag of popcorn is there, I might eat 2 servings of the popcorn or 3 servings of the popcorn. Whereas just, and I mean like every day of my job is stressful because I don't like my job, but I mean like an extraordinarily stressful day, and usually when other things are going on, then that's when it's harder for me to say no to things. But that only happens on a inconsistent basis, I guess. So yeah, I have emotional issues around food, but I don't believe that I am addicted to food. Are you comfortable in your body now? That's a hard question. I mean, the more weight that I lose, the more comfortable I feel walking around. I feel better in my body, but you know, like, do I like what I see when I look in the mirror? Yes and no sometimes. With my clothes on. Without my clothes, no, I don't like what I see. It's horrible. I mean, I've seen some of you guys who show your pictures pre-surgery, and I don't know, I haven't even seen anyone's body that I think looks as bad as mine does yet, because, you know, I'm 46 years old. I've yo-yo dieted for over 26 years, and I've actually had success getting some weight off. So continuously losing 50 pounds here, gain it back, 50 pounds, gain it back, 50 pounds, gain it back. Usually that's about what I would lose, is 50 pounds. And so doing that over and over and over again all these years, I mean, you can't see it because clothes really do cover it up pretty well, but it's ugly under here. It really is. So it's like, in terms of that, no. But I guess when I think of the word comfortable, moving around, I feel really good. And the more and more weight I lose, the more and more comfortable I feel just walking around. And so that I do really appreciate. So yeah, I think I've rambled on enough with these questions. Thank you guys for watching.